Well, thank you so much, Dan, Chairman Newhouse. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for making sure that Western Caucus is playing such a crucial role in this issue that matters not only to those of us who represent energy producing states and districts, but to the whole country. And so it's an honor to be here with you today and with our colleague, Jody Arrington, as well as with our tremendous witnesses, including Tim Considine from the University of Wyoming. And so I look forward very much to this hearing and to being able to continue to focus on and bring a spotlight on the real devastation we've seen from the Biden administration executive orders. We've seen, as you've discussed, that the administration is willing in their misguided haste to end fossil fuel production. They're willing to destroy millions of jobs, to deny communities hundreds of millions of dollars that we use to fund education, infrastructure, healthcare resources, and other critical programs. We've seen this both with respect to the impacts of President Biden's executive order that would place an indefinite moratorium on federal oil and gas leasing. We've seen the effect that energy costs will rise, domestic energy production will fall, jobs will be lost, and the individuals who can least afford it will bear the brunt of this action by the Biden administration. Not only that, but this moratorium will diminish our ability to produce energy domestically, to maintain energy independence, and will force us back to the days when we had to rely on adversaries for our energy production. And that obviously undermines our national security interests. While the president, the vice president, the Biden administration claim that this ban is some sort of an effort to address climate change, the reality is the ban will do nothing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Adversely, it will disproportionately impact middle and low income families and communities in rural states across the West, like Wyoming, with large percentages of our land, federal land. The ban will limit production on federal lands, but it won't limit production overall. The demand for oil and gas will remain the same. So it merely shifts production to other areas of the country, disproportionately hurting states like Wyoming, or to foreign countries. In my home state, which ranks first in federal natural gas production, second in federal oil production, the effects will be real, they will be harmful. Not only will the moratorium destroy jobs, it will also cost the state over $150 million annually in K through 12 funding, millions more for critical infrastructure and other services. This moratorium will facilitate the loss of one of the most significant sources of federal revenue during a time of record federal deficits and results in a decrease of the U.S. gross domestic product by $700 billion. Not only that, the ban will cause a net increase of crude imports by 2 million barrels per day, which will weaken U.S. energy and national security, increasing our trade deficit and our reliance on foreign nations. We'll also see a reduction in critical energy supplies for Americans to heat their homes and fuel their cars, as well as impacts to manufacturing feedstocks and the development of critical products. The executive order, the same one that places a ban on federal oil and gas leasing, also directs the Interior Department to outline steps to achieve President Biden's goal of conserving at least additionally 30% of our lands and waters by the year 2030. This also would create a significant gap in conservation funding. The administration failed to take into account that billions of dollars in revenues from oil and gas leasing and production go to conservation every year. They go, for example, to the Democratic championed Land and Water Conservation Fund. The 30 by 30 goal is an additional effort by executive order for the Biden administration to lock up federal acreage for multiple use through permanent protection. The administration must remember that federal lands are here to benefit the American people. Multiple use means multiple use. Every American has a place on our public lands, and multiple use lands should not be locked up as wilderness areas, thus denying our ability to use those lands for grazing, for energy production, for recreation. The longer the moratorium remains in effect, the more significant the personal, individual, and economic impact will be on citizens across the country. Despite the rhetoric we've seen from the administration, unfortunately, these initial moves are nothing short of heartless. They damage the economy, they damage the energy industry, they damage our families, they take away jobs, they hurt individuals. They're really misguided efforts to placate the far left. And I'm hopeful that the administration will rethink these efforts and will turn them around through efforts like the one we're engaged in today. So with that, let me thank you very much, Chairman Newhouse, and I'll turn things back over to you.